Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. Oh my God, I spilled my water. Fuck.
Oh, Christ.
We should keep that in. That's funny. That's good.
Oh, Christ.
This is the day from hell.
I'm keeping it.
Did you spill water on your equipment? Is everything okay?
It's just a charger. It's fine. Because I always kind of do like something in my arm, and it was just a matter of time. What happens if you get a car? You know what? Let's just start the show. Well, what did I say? Yeah, welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, Danny Kelly, Craig Horlbeck. Not really the same when I can't yell it, but yeah, there's water all over my floor. Today we're doing the All-Stanky team.
And let's describe what that is for the listeners.
I just rattled by knocking this water.
This is something we've never done before. So we usually, and we will do this later this year, we do the all boring team, right? Which is like the players that you draft that nobody makes a peep about. You draft James Conner, nobody says a word. James Conner ends up being like the RB11. Right. And so there's always a list of like the Keenan Allen, the James Conner types. And
the anti-hype guys.
The anti-hype guys. We were discussing doing that again. And we started to bring up some names. And we were like, Michael Pittman. Is Michael Pittman boring or is he kind of stinky?
Well, Michael Pittman, and it's a good example because there are guys who used to be boring, but now I physically recoil at the thought of having them. So, for example, Jaylen Waddle is someone who used to be exciting, but now I hate him. Yes. And so there are players, Anthony Richardson, 1 year ago, super sexy, cool. Now, physically repulsive.
Now he reeks.
Are these the people that you judge your league mate a little bit if they take this guy?
These are the names that when you draft them, when you draft Javonte Williams, everybody in your league will verbally make fun of you. And we're gonna construct a roster of those players that could win your league or at least do really well.
And it's kind of like, is there any value in having any of these guys? Basically, is there a way to arbitrage like general disgust? Are we able to get value out of that? Is there an edge in targeting disgusting players? Or is it worth, at the very least, just actually confirming, all these guys are disgusting for a reason. Stay away from them with a 10-foot pole. And I think it's kind of like that, again, the Seinfeld episode, I think there's like an ugly baby and they're all like, oh, but you're not supposed to say anything. It's one of those where your friend shows you his team. You're like, hey, I just drafted this team. What do you think? And you look, you're like, oh my God.
Javonte Williams, RB2.
Ugh. And so, that's the goal of today's exercise. So with that said, the quarterback of the all-stanky team has to be none other than Anthony Richardson. I just think he has to. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Can you compare him to a stinky cheese? What type of cheese is
I feel like the blue cheeses are the stinky ones, right?
Yeah, but it's like I know blue cheese is already molded,
Roquefort?
but it's like, I don't know Roquefort.
Roquefort? I don't know if I know cheese well enough to do this exercise.
I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm the wrong guy.
Richardson is an old Gouda that you forgot in the back of your fridge.
More like a Bata.
Oh.
God, between that and the water.
That was really nice of you, DK, to laugh at that. Really, really considerate of you.
That was an extreme dad joke.
Anyway.
Gouda, more like a Bata. I'm actually coming around on it. I think it's a good joke.
Speaking of which, I'm coming around. I've decided that I think Anthony Richardson is the most obvious buy-the-dip player I've ever seen in the history of fantasy football.
Yeah, his reputation can't get a lot worse right now, I feel like, other than if he was just out of the league.
Here's what. He's being drafted like he's Kadarius Toney. Craig, do you know in like a regular league, like if you're on ESPN, CBS, Yahoo, whatever, where Anthony Richardson is being drafted?
At his position or overall?
Overall.
Oh, I don't know. He's probably going in between 150 and 200.
Trick question. He's not being drafted. Anthony Richardson is unranked, basically. He's outside the top 200. ESPN, not to pick on ESPN, but ESPN has him behind Deontay Johnson in Cleveland. Deontay Johnson, who is giving interviews about how he didn't want to try, and the Ravens sent him into a game and he wouldn't go. He's above Anthony Richardson. And all that's to say, I understand.
Which is ironic because you're making fun of Deontay Johnson, a guy who didn't want to go in the game, with Anthony Richardson, a guy who literally left because he was tired.
Well, yeah, but at least for one play. Here's the thing. I know Anthony Richardson had a bad year. I know he left the game because he was tired. I know that does Anthony Richardson have a completion percentage in his career lower than Shaquille O'Neal's career free throw percentage? Yes, he does. Is that bad? Yes. I understand Anthony Richardson might literally not be the starting quarterback for the Colts this year. Literally, Daniel Jones might just start week 1. I get all that. Having said that, every player who is undrafted in fantasy football is expected to have a bad season or may not play. Every player outside the top 140 players may not play football. The difference is that if Anthony Richardson actually does play, he could be the single most impactful player in all of fantasy football outside the top 130, 140. Not a single person has the upside. Anthony Richardson does. And again, I'm not saying he's definitely going to be it. I'm just saying he's literally your last pick. You could just take him and just hold him for 2 weeks and see if Daniel Jones sucks or gets hurt, because Daniel Jones, again, left the Giants in part because he had a neck injury and couldn't throw a football very far. I'm just saying, I understand Anthony Richardson's bad, but he fell 140 spots from last season.
The pendulum has swung way too far. I wanted to see a real life application of this, so I went and just looked at my Scott Fishbowl team, the league that I'm in. It's a super flex league, so quarterbacks are very important. He went in the 14th round, and that's
in a league where quarterbacks going first overall.
Yes, yeah, it's super flex. Like, quarterbacks are it's so much more important. So people are, I think the pendulum has swung too far to the point where it is embarrassing to draft him. I think people were like, I'm not taking him because they're going to make fun of me for this.
Yeah.
I mean, we had like a 30-minute argument last year in person in LA about whether Anthony Richardson should be in tier 1 of quarterbacks being drafted. And then we knew he probably wasn't good.
And that's what I'm saying, is just we're overcorrect. And again, Anthony Richardson, maybe Daniel Jones keeps the job and plays all 17 games. I'm just saying it doesn't matter, because the other people around Anthony Richardson are other people who may not play. It's third string running backs, it's backup tight ends, and it is fifth string receivers. And I'm just saying,
Deontay Johnson's not even going to play this year.
No, he won't get a team. Dude, Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper are going ahead of him. Neither which is
not on teams.
My point being this, the other part of this Anthony Richardson thing, Anthony Richardson is 23. Anthony Richardson is the exact same age as Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Like, dead ass, they were born 3 days apart. Cam Ward is the number one pick in the NFL draft.
Dead ass.
That's how you know the phrase is dead, because now I'm a white 30-year-old guy saying dead ass, which is how you know the phrase has kind of cycled through the culture.
Even I cringed a little when you said that. Yeah.
Was it worse what was more cringe so far? Me spilling my water in the intro, me saying Gouda more like Bata, or me saying
I'm all in
ass?
on the Gouda Bata thing. I think that's
I
really
think
good
that
joke.
is why the answer is Gouda Bata, is because of DKs like that.
Anyway.
You nailed that, buddy.
So, are you guys with?
He has
and again,
great taste in comedy.
To be clear, I'm not saying Richardson should be your starting quarterback. I'm saying that if you have literally any starting quarterback from number 1, Josh Allen, to number 20, Trevor Lawrence, your backup is perfect. Anthony Richardson being your backup quarterback is basically the perfect backup quarterback, because if he doesn't play, you cut him.
It's really hard to make the argument that you shouldn't do this with the very last pick in your draft.
All right, so there you go, Stanky. Let's get to everyone else on this list who I kind of hate, but I think to your point, Michael Pittman, who is on the Colts receiver. Do we feel the same way about Pittman, though?
I mean, he's so stinky. No one's gonna praise you for drafting him. But I think it's getting a little out of hand how much he's falling. Fantasy Pros has him ranked as the wide receiver 46. Michael Pittman. I mean, 2 seasons ago he had 109 catches. He was the wide receiver 19 with Gardner Minshew. He doesn't need a lot to be decent. And also, not to mention, last year was a disaster for the Colts in many ways. Anthony Richardson was terrible, but also Michael Pittman fractured his back and played all but 1 game last year. There was a report that he was going to go on IR, and then he just showed up the next game and didn't miss the rest of the season.
He has averaged 140 targets per 17 games over the last 4 seasons.
The Pittman argument to me is the opposite of everything I just said about Anthony Richardson, you listen to, and we're like, wow, Heifetz is an idiot. There's no way Anthony Richardson's going to play. Then Daniel Jones will be the quarterback. Then Michael Pittman outside the top 100 seems like a pretty good value just for PPR alone.
I mean, sure. Wan'Dale Robinson had 100 catches last year. Daniel Jones is capable of keeping 1 to 2 wide receivers relevant in fantasy football. And Michael Pittman's not bad.
Michael Pittman's like 2 Wan'Dale Robinsons in a trench coat stacked on top of him.
Exactly. Michael Pittman is a decent player. I don't know if he's great, but Michael Pittman is a solid wide receiver in the NFL. And so if it's Daniel Jones, this guy is going to double his value.
I still kind of don't want Michael Pittman, even after this. I agree with what you were saying, but I
like this.
You do?
Yeah.
I kind of increasingly just kind of think if there's a cult I want, it's Tyler Warren.
The Colts situation this year reminds me of the way that we were talking about the Chargers last year, where it was going to be a miracle if they throw the ball 18 times in a game. You know what I mean? That's what I think we kind of looked at it like. Now, obviously, the quarterback situation is very different. And we were kind of betting on Herbert. But I think just at the end of the day, I shudder at saying this, but like somebody is going to have production in this offense, right? Like it's not going to be nothing. I think at this point, Craig's
forward, it ends up being nothing.
Craig's argument is that it's getting ridiculous how low he's rated.
Wide receiver 46, I think
completely agree with that. Yeah,
he's a little low.
I do think that
he's going around like Cooper Kupp. I'm like, come on.
Would you rather have Michael Pittman or Josh Downs in fantasy for the whole year?
I mean, I'd rather have Josh Downs in Dynasty. I think long term he's very good, but he's not gonna be on the field for 2 wide receiver sets. I don't know. I might still probably I think Downs is the ceiling play, Pittman is the floor play. So it depends what you want. Because Downs is very good.
They're probably pretty close, right?
I think there's a chance Pittman ends up being this. I don't know. We'll see. I think that Jonathan Taylor is the focal point of the offense, and I honestly think there will be one pass catcher that you want from this offense, and I kind of think it might end up being Tyler Warren. Pittman, I think I can take the stank out, but I don't want Pittman. But we could take the stank.
I mean,
off.
let's be clear.
Back injury.
I don't want most people on this list, but we're making the argument why it might be a valuable selection.
All right, DK, give us another receiver from that feels stanky to you.
I memean, this is not nearly to the level of those two guys, but Marvin Harrison Jr. right now, I feel like his reputation is taking a massive shot. I think it's partly, due to the fact that expectations were sky high last year, and he fell very, very far short of like what everyone kind of was expecting him to do. But he to me feels like one of the biggest post type values in fantasy, just because of I guess just the taste in your mouth from having him last year. People are just gonna be like, I'm not going down that train again. I also think like if you look at the lack of chemistry he showed with Kyler Murray, the lack of creativity, Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator for the Cardinals, showed in terms of just like Marvin Harrison, you drafted him 4th overall, and then he's running like clear out routes on the outside, like wind sprints. So that was really disconcerting. So those two things together, plus the mile per hour stuff from early in the season. You remember they were like tracking Marvin Harrison, how fast he was running, and it was incredibly slow. And everyone was like, "Oh, now I see why he didn't run in the pre-draft process at all. Maybe this guy's just actually really slow." I think those things working together, his just like the cool factor, the hype factor, the vibe around him is really, really bad right now, or at least relative to last year. So I think he's a really good value. If you look at his numbers from last year, they weren't even all that bad. I think it was just, again, relative to expectation, but he had 116 targets and a 22% target rate, both pretty strong numbers, inside the top 23, both of those numbers among all receivers last year. I think the big thing, and I'm hoping this is what happens, and I think if it does happen, is what's going to make him a huge value in fantasy, is the Cardinals figure out we got to get this guy more easy buckets. We got to get more easy targets, catch and runs, short and intermediate area. He had zero targets behind the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? So he was not.
Maybe it's because he's not fast.
Well, sure. But I think when you draft a guy 4th overall, maybe you should find a way to get him the football.
It's probably true.
He had catch rate was 53%. That was 176th out of 192 qualified skill players.
But that statistic we just said, catch rate.
Mm-hmm.
Does that tell you more about Marvin Harrison Jr.? Because that's not a receiver stat as much as it's a quarterback and receiver stat.
I think it's a quarterback. It's everything I just said. It's quarterback not being on the same page as a receiver. It's the types of targets he was getting, which were higher degree of difficulty downfield. And it was, lack of chemistry with Kyler. Did I already say that? But yeah.
Well, yeah, but here's my question about that, because I think Cardinals, I'm into the Cardinals. I regret we just recorded our last episode about which teams will go into the playoffs. I wish I had put the Cardinals in. I'm a big believer in the Cardinals defense, offense. My one question with Arizona is when you say Kyler's not on the same page with Marvin Harrison, is that like with more reps they'll get on the same page? Or is that Kyler, because he's short, has the Russell Wilson thing, where it's harder for Kyler to play in rhythm necessarily? How much of it should we expect to improve with the full offseason?
Well,
is it smart to assume it'll improve, or is it just baked into what Kyler does in offense?
No, I mean, if you look at, didn't we compare Marvin Harrison in some ways to like a DeAndre Hopkins type player, where it wasn't like pure blazing speed that was going to be what makes him good? It was, his ability to separate, his hands, all that stuff. And, I think we saw Hopkins in Arizona with Kyler Murray, and they figured out a way to make a connection. So I don't think it's necessarily Kyler, the type of quarterback Kyler is just not going to work with Marvin Harrison. I don't think that's the case. I'm looking at some of Hopkins' numbers. I mean, he didn't play full seasons in Arizona, but in 2020, 160 targets, 115 catches, 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns.
And one of the best catches.
One of the
in NFL
craziest
history.
catches you've ever seen that, when he came down with that ball in the end zone. So, obviously that's this is again, we're building scenarios where these guys who have terrible vibes around them right now end up being really great values in fantasy. And I think if Petzing decides to get him the ball more because he picked them 4th overall and he's a great playmaker, and Kyler and Marvin Harrison's chemistry improves, I think those 2 things alone, he's going to outplay his ADP.
Yeah, I think this is simple. It's I think Marvin Harrison Jr. struggles because of so many other rookie wide receivers have hit the ground running lately. There's been a lot of receivers taken in the top 10, top 15 who have just been good right out the gate. Like Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas. A lot of first round guys have hit and he didn't, but it was still what did he have? 900 yards last year? It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I think it's for a guy with his talent profile, who is the number 1 receiver on his team along with Trey McBride. I'm he's the wide receiver 20 now in drafts. It just feels like we're all going to feel stupid if he has a great year next year. And it's of course he needed a year to get acclimated. This happens sometimes with NFL players. Not everybody's going to hit the ground running. It doesn't mean your career is over.
His arms are big.
Have you seen his biceps?
Pounds. Yeah. He's got anchor arms now.
I don't know. I think he's better than what he was last year, and he's going to play closer to that this year.
I don't know if he's full stinky, but he's a little stinky. He forgot to wear deodorant for a day.
Next guy I wanted to talk about was, I think the stinkiest guy in the entire list to me is Jerry Jeudy, receiver from the Browns.
This guy can't catch a break. We got to just get him to play with Jameis Winston for the rest of his career, because he'll go to the Hall of Fame if that happens.
I actually have the splits of Jerry Jeudy with and without Jameis Winston. So when Jameis Winston started from week 7 to week 15 for the Browns last year, Jerry Jeudy, of all people, was the number 4 receiver in fantasy football, only behind Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jerry Jeudy was ahead of CeeDee Lamb when Jameis was the starter. And to that point, Jerry Jeudy with Jameis Winston literally doubled his fantasy points per route on the rest of his career. Literally every route he ran with Jameis was more than twice as valuable as every other route in his career combined. To the point that Jerry Jeudy played 9% of his career games with Jameis Winston, but has gotten 19% of his career receiving yards to Jameis Winston.
I mean,
he was 6th in the NFL in receiving yards last year.
Dude,
that's unbelievable.
Even if you just look at the entire season, he was 14th in receiving yards per game. That's how crazy the Jameis patch was. If you look at the entire season, he was still top 15.
Which is why it's funny to try to project Malik Neighbors this year, because Jameis Winston signed with the Giants, but Jameis Winston is probably also the 3rd quarterback. So it's Jameis Winston probably won't play for the Giants, but if he did, Malik Neighbors might legitimately
break all the records.
Malik Neighbors has a chance to get 250 yards in a game, which Jerry Jeudy did last year. So with that said, Jerry Jeudy, though, does not have Jameis this year.
And he's one of the harder players, I think, to pick. Just this is a, plug your nose and hit the pick button type of deal, just because we don't know who the quarterback is going to be. Right now, it's Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel. And maybe Gabriel is ahead of Sanders on that. I don't even know. But
should be.
This is just a terrible situation in terms of offensive environment. This is another team that plays in the cold and snow and wind late in the season. It just doesn't feel great to pick Jerry Jeudy, and it feels like it's going to go terribly. However, I kind of feel like if Flacco is starting early in the year, Jeudy might kind of go off early on in the season at least.
No, I'm not getting on board with this.
Take him. He's gonna be
he's
gonna be like the wide receiver 12 for the first month of the season, and then trade his ass.
I just feel like Jerry Jeudy himself has had a poor attitude at times. I think the Browns, Kevin Stefanski is on the precipice of getting fired. The Browns just scream. How many times do we say the answer? So many times as well. There's always an offense. Someone's going to get targets. It's yeah, but there's always 5 teams that you don't want anybody on the goddamn team. You want to watch them every week. You don't want them every week. And I just think the Browns, after doing the playoff exercise a couple days ago, I just think there's zero fucking chance the Browns make the playoffs. I don't want anyone on the Cleveland Browns.
For a team that has had terrible vibes for the last 5 years, the vibes are somehow maybe at an all-time low this year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Things are not great. The quarterback position, Quinshon
Things
Judkins,
can get worse.
A lot is bad.
Yeah.
Well, Deshaun Watson somehow is still under contract, but has been exiled from the building, even though they're still paying him.
Yeah, the only DK, I guess you're right. With Flacco, I mean, we saw what Flacco did for David Njoku on the Browns.
Right,
I would probably be more into him than Jeudy. But I think at the end of this exercise, we should pick the stinkiest player. I think Jeudy.
To be clear, the plan is
He's close.
Plan A is how old is Joe Flacco? 38?
38, 39, yeah.
Plan A, the best case scenario is Joe Flacco plays the entire season for the Cleveland Browns and peppers Jeudy because Joe
He's
Flacco
40.
has
He's
no
40.
one. Joe Flacco's 40.
He's 40.
Who again,
Oh.
Tom Brady has skewed this, and Rodgers. There was before Brady, no quarterback had really gotten through a full season at 40
Also,
unscathed, other than one
I
Favre
desperately
season.
want Joe Flacco to be the starter.
Also, the Browns for a long time have had a good offensive line. They no longer do. The Browns'
the
offensive
Browns-
line is bad.
It is bad. There, and also the Browns' offensive line next season is like a time bomb because all these guys are either old or being paid. Like it's a disaster. So I think the Browns. I feel this. I mean, even before Quinshon Judkins had that incident, this team. It's the Cleveland Browns. I don't want them. I'm out.
Jeudy is going around guys like Jordan Addison, Rome Odunze, George Pickens. I mean, yeah, Juwan Jennings.
All those guys
I'd
I think
rather
have
all
such
those guys.
like obvious. Like I can see it. No, I don't want it.
I'm not
I
even
also,
going
to
try
be clear,
pretend to
biased.
tuck you guys into it, but that's fair.
I don't like Jeudy
We
personally.
we had to come up with somebody.
I was assigned Jerry Jeudy when we were making the doc.
Well, he sucks. DK's like, I did this against my will. This was a soul-searching mission. I assigned myself Jaylen Waddle for the Miami Dolphins.
I kind of think Waddle's going to go off this
I was
year.
going to say,
So-
I actually think this one you have to do the least convincing.
Well, that's the thing, because Craig, how much did I actually think we argued about Waddle a ton last year, because Craig and I were like, I hate this guy. And DK's
I traded
like,
for him. Yeah.
You guys are idiots. And I'm like, so I went back and I was like, why do I hate him so much? And I'm just going to do, cutting edge fantasy football analysis. I'm going to read you how many points he scored
Dude,
in half PPR each week of the first 3 months of the season.
I'm getting triggered.
Here's how many points Jaylen Waddle had every week of the first 3 months of the season. 13, 6, 4, 5, 6, 1, 6, 6, 7, 4, and then a kick in the nuts. Week 12, he had 24.
Dude,
Which is like, you're out.
I
You're
remember
done.
we used to say like Jerry Jeudy had more points today than Waddle's had in a month. Like,
Yeah,
there were some
that's
crazy
true.
stuff.
That happened on Monday Night Football. So here's the thing. We think of Jaylen Waddle as this boom-bust player. Jaylen Waddle has had 20 points in a week 3 times in the last 2 seasons. So that really did remind me, I do hate Jaylen Waddle. But similar to the Anthony Richardson thing, whereas Jaylen Waddle last year was being drafted like 26th, Jaylen Waddle is now available this year, 60th. And which is where I start thinking, so let me get this straight. If Tua plays and the Miami offense is good, which is not hard to imagine. There were struggles when Tua was healthy as well, but like, it's not hard to imagine the Dolphins offense being special. We're now depending on Tyreek Hill, who's 31 years old, still being the fastest player in the NFL. And I know he's running his 100-yard dashes or whatever is really fast, but I'm like, it is a pass into the Italians' offense where it's kicking and screaming. And they're just like, 2 guys get the ball. Miami has 3 receivers now without Jonnu Smith. It is Tyreek Hill, Jaylen Waddle, Devon Etienne. Those are the only people who get the football. And so I'm just like, I have really tried to look in the mirror and be like, am I going to feel really stupid for just hating Jaylen Waddle and not taking him, even though he could be your 6th pick?
Can I give you guys a few of the receivers that are right in the same range as Waddle, and you guys tell me, like, if you want Waddle out of all these guys? Okay, I'll start here. Xavier Worthy, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Waddle, Godwin, Jeudy, Calvin Ridley.
I would rather have Waddle over, I think you said Godwin, Zay Flowers, Xavier Worthy. I'd rather have Waddle over all those guys. Pickens is close.
I would rather have, I think.
But I get your point. I agree with you, Heifetz. As much as I hate Jaylen Waddle in fantasy, yeah, he's like, you can get him in this 5th or 6th round now, and they lost 111 targets with Jonnu Smith. The Dolphins were not vertical last year. They were just like throwing to Devon Etienne and to Jonnu Smith, and they completely lost their like deep ball verticality, all that stuff. And there's just a chance that Jaylen Waddle becomes the number 1 wide receiver on the team this year. And that's probably just immediately catapults him as into a top 10, top 15 receiver. But I hate him.
I hate him too. I don't
when
want
you watch,
to be
watching
clear.
last year was excruciating.
radicalizing.
I think there was even one brutal play where, like, don't you guys remember the game started, and I believe he had like 3 catches for 70 yards in the first drive.
Oh yeah.
And then everybody was tweeting me, we were all texting, and then I think he didn't catch a pass for the rest of the game.
He also
He had a
kick in
crucial
the nuts.
fumble at one point. I think he got hurt. Ugh.
I think was there a game he had negative yards?
Yes.
That was also
Is
humiliating.
that because he like ran around trying to like?
Oh no, sorry.
There
was
or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, there was a game he had. This is also my hatred of PPR scoring in a nutshell. Jaylen Waddle against Buffalo in week 9 had 2 catches for -4 yards. But he scored a touchdown.
Crook.
Would you also explain that? 2 catches, -4 yards, scored a touchdown.
We should also say Nick Wexbrook-Akine is on the Dolphins. So
I didn't
that's 10
actually.
touchdowns
I
taken
forgot
away.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to take a lot of. That's going to take
an
a lot of
immediate
touchdowns.
10
out.
touchdowns.
Yeah, I'll take Waddle over a lot of those guys you listed. So, I think
so too.
if Waddle's going 55th or later, I'm like, all right, it's hard to find that much upside.
I don't think
late.
he's that stinky in the court of public opinion. I think he's very stinky if you had him on your team last year. But I think people who have never drafted him, I think would be like, oh, Jaylen Waddle, fast.
Can I give you an
Dolphins.
aesthetic thought
Fast.
about something that I don't think is good fantasy football analysis, but true when I'm drafting?
Mm-hmm.
The difference between the way you've drafted, if you've taken like, a running back, a receiver, a tight end, and if Jaylen Waddle is being slotted into my second wide receiver spot, I hate it.
Yeah.
But if Jaylen Waddle's getting slotted in my flex spot, I feel
Not
really
bad.
good about
Pretty
it.
nice.
Even though that shouldn't be a thing,
No, I think
that's just how I feel.
That's a thing.
I think that makes tons of sense. I think
I
it'd
don't
be weird
like-
if it was the other way.
Yeah, well, I just
always
don't.
kind of. Do you guys ever forget that Waddle was the 6th overall pick, and I believe they traded up for him?
They traded up
Like it's kind
a
of
lot
wild.
for him because the Dolphins. That was the Brock, or not the Brock Purdy trade. This is the Trey Lance trade. Was that the Dolphins traded from 3 to 12, and they moved back up to 6
right
to get Jaylen Waddle. And so if you look at Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle, they spent a combined, like, if you include the pick used to get Waddle, the future one to trade, and the Tyreek Hill, they got like 3 first-round picks or 4 on those 2 guys or something crazy.
So the goal is to really have Waddle be your flex. That way, if he disappoints, you won't hate him as much. It's like parents. It's like their first and second kid. They're nervous. They're watching them all the time. By the time they get to kid 4, it's like whatever. What happens. That's if Waddle's your 4th
Is that how
wide receiver
people
on your
feel?
team. Yeah. Parents with kid number 4, they're bonking their head. They're not paying attention to him. It's a completely different situation.
They're bonking. their
Kids getting
head.
bonked. Yeah.
Do you guys
bonking
want me to
heads.
read off some names of players that averaged more half PPR points per game than Jaylen Waddle last
Dude,
year?
I literally think we
yeah.
did all this last year, but yes.
Do it. I have a list
Wow,
of players who
let's do it
scored
again.
more touchdowns.
for,
Yeah.
for old time's sake, Craig.
Do it, DK.
Darnell Mooney by quite a lot, actually. Let's see here. Quentin Johnston. Where's he getting drafted now?
Late.
Let's see here. Jalen McMillan, Alan Lazard, Alec Pierce,
Alan Lazard
Romeo
is
Dobbs,
horrific.
or Dub,
Lazard
Tank Dell, Michael
Lazard
Pittman.
stings. That one stings.
I haven't heard a word you said since Alan Lazard outscored Jaylen Waddle. I haven't heard anything you said. I have another one. Players who had the same number of touchdowns last year as Jaylen Waddle. Tyler Higbee,
He had
who
2,
played 3 games.
by the way. Yeah.
Also, Jamison Crowder, who's 31 and had
Was he on
9
Washington?
catches.
Where was he?
He spot started for Washington. Jamison Crowder had
Where was
9
he?
catches last year and has many touchdowns as Jaylen Waddle.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
I couldn't. He was playing for Washington one week. I'm like, when is
it's
he in the
fun,
NFL?
but also just so demoralizing doing these
You're
experiments.
talking me out of him.
Another receiver, this one's not hatred, but it's just kind of I just feel bad for him, is Chris Olave on the Saints.
Yeah.
Tough
Chris
right now.
Olave's tough
Yeah.
because I think he's probably one of the best receivers in the league that is not famous at all and nobody knows him. Like, I think if Chris Olave were on a different team, like any decent team, he'd be twice as famous because he is like legitimately good. All the underlying metrics about like his ability to get open, his yards per route run, his targets per route run, all that is super legit. And yet he's like the cheapest wide receiver one going in drafts right now, along with like Calvin Ridley and I guess Michael Pittman, if you want to include him. So he's a great price tag right now. The obvious downsides are that he's had 4 confirmed concussions in his 3 seasons. He had 2 last year, missed some time, and he has
Missed half the season.
yeah. And while you do have Kellen Moore coming in to call plays, which is a plus, you have outside of Cleveland, I guess. No, this is maybe the worst quarterback situation in the league. It's Tyler Shuck and it's Spencer
Tyler
Rattler.
Shuck and again, what would you rather option A be? 40-year-old Joe Flacco, followed by Dylan Gabriel, the owner picking Shadur Sanders in Cleveland. Who am I forgetting? Oh, Kenny Pickett, or the New Orleans having Tyler Shuck, who is 26 and the same age as Trevor Lawrence, and then Spencer Rattler.
Oh, I think the Browns are way more well set up than the Saints.
Oh, well, I guess they have more
options.
Yeah, they have like more
spaghetti.
swings at the plate. You know, it's like maybe Gabriel or Shador, or I guess Flacco holds on, or Pickett comes back. Shuck, with the Saints, it's like, all right, Spencer Rattler's not a starter.
Well, the funny thing to me with the Saints, and also just to remind people, so Derek Carr retired over the offseason. And the funny thing is that obviously there was so much frustration in New Orleans with Derek Carr. Like the fans were so happy he retired. It's bad for their cap and everything. But the players were frustrated with Derek Carr. Like Michael Thomas was tweeting about him. And I think what's crazy is that Tyler Shuck plays exactly like Derek Carr, where he's willing to rip it, but he won't take contact because Tyler Shuck had how many career-ending injuries, season-ending injuries in college. And so Tyler Shuck is another player who will throw deep, but only if he's not going to take a hit and throw the ball away a lot. And I just... maybe
throw the ball away on fourth down, if you will.
Yes, exactly. And so... maybe the Saints won't be the worst team in the NFL, but the Saints are projected to be maybe the number one pick in the NFL draft this year. And again, I don't want to watch this team. I don't want to draft Chris Olave and cringe every time he gets tackled and watch Tyler Shuck try to develop chemistry with Chris Olave, and then Tyler Shuck is benched, and then it's Spencer Rattler trying to throw to Chris Olave. And I'm like, maybe that'll work. But I'm like, the downside is the most predictable thing ever. Chris Olave, miserable. Again, all his Ohio State buddy. Also, all the Ohio State receivers are all miserable. Terry McLaurin can't get a contract. Garrett Wilson just got paid, but the Jets suck. He's going to be miserable with Justin Fields. Like, all these guys are upset. All the LSU guys are winning. I don't know. I just think that the Ohio State receiver group text is miserable.
I feel like the Saints are going to be a lot better than people think. And I'm not saying they'll be good. I don't think they'll be good. It's like playoff team. But I feel like right now, everyone sees them as the worst team in the NFL. Do you think that's right?
They're up there.
Bottom three.
I think the Giants are probably a better team, but the Giants have a much harder schedule.
For some reason, the contrarian in me thinks they'll be like a 500 team.
Well, it's like the Broncos last year. Like, if you think that the Saints can be an average offense, if you think the Saints, like Tyler Shuck, can lead an offense and be an average quarterback, then yeah, you should have Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara, for sure. But if you think that Tyler Shuck is going to suck, I wouldn't take the Saints.
Suck for Shuck.
I don't... Oh.
Too bad he wasn't a better prospect. That would have been a good little thing.
Would it have?
Well, it would have been funny.
It would have been funny. That's right.
It would have been a good bit, Craig.
Yeah. I feel like Olave's ceiling is kind of just what he's done. Like, I feel like his ceiling is still like 1,100 yards and like 6 touchdowns, unless Shuck is just like a revelation. So... with that said, there's not a lot going on in New Orleans, man.
I know, but isn't it? I guess here's my thing. I just feel like if you could draft, what are the offense, like at the end of the season, what are the offenses you wish you had not had anyone on that team? And I feel like my first 3 picks in some order would be Saints, Browns, Colts. And maybe the Giants are in there. But those teams feel really high. Saints, Browns, Colts. I really don't want anyone in that team. One guy at most. And you know what I mean? Like, they just seem like they're going to lose a lot of games and suck. And everyone involved is going to get fired. And that's an underrated part of the bad teams, is when the vibe's sour, players stop trying all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that's my fear with Alvin Kamara as well with New Orleans, is what is the incentive for Alvin Kamara to play through any kind of injury in December on the Saints team? You know what I mean? I don't know. Chris Olave, same thing. That's
I don't know.
Watch New Orleans, watch Chris Olave be the number 1 receiver in football.
Also, it's funny. You say that, but like, Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara consistently in their interviews say that they love New Orleans. They love being on the team. They want to be there for life.
Yeah, the city's awesome. No doubt about the city.
They're a 500 team. They'll be fine.
All right, well, there you go. Take Chris. So you're in on Chris. So there you go. So just to keep track here, I'm out on Jeudy, in on Waddle, out on Olave. But DK, you're basically saying Olave and Waddle, you're like maybe over the stake.
Olave is the best wide receiver, talent-wise, that you could get around that.
Okay.
I think at this point, Olave is a great value.
Should we do the stankiest player on the list now or save it for the end?
Let's do it now.
Okay.
I'm curious who this is.
I know I said Jerry Jeudy. That was definitely wrong. The stankiest player on the entire list is Kyle Pitts.
100%.
It's like not even close.
I thought it was someone else. Okay.
You thought it was Najee Harris?
No.
Oh. Travis Etienne?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think Kyle Pitts has to.
I feel like people have given up on Kyle Pitts, so maybe that is
Kyle
the right way
Pitts.
of putting
It's
it.
like I feel weird even saying should you take Kyle Pitts, but Kyle Pitts.
Man,
it's
what
the same.
happened with Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, Kyle Pitts isn't
God
even
damn it.
stinky. It's now come back around to like funny.
It's ironic. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
fashion. Everything comes out. It's like I'm gonna wear cargo shorts. Yeah.
Okay, so Kyle Pitts, he's returned very, very, very slowly from a knee injury suffered in 2022. I feel like we're talking about he's not healthy, but I looked it up. He got hurt in 2022. That was like a very long time ago.
He had multiple surgeries after that have
Sure.
influenced like the entire following season.
So
but then he was
he's-
bad the year after that too.
He's had a bunch of complications to that knee injury, and/or he is just injured a lot. And the result of it is he looks like he's moving in slow motion on the field. I was listening to Greg Cosell the other day talking about it, and he's like always he couches everything. He's like, look, I'm not a coach. I'm not with them in the meeting rooms, blah, blah, blah. But it just doesn't really look like he has any fire when he's on the field. And I was like, yeah, like he's just going through the motions. That's what it looks like. He's not really running routes very hard. He doesn't it doesn't really look, I know. And it's like, you gotta be really careful about saying this type of thing, but it just doesn't look like he cares. You know what I mean? Maybe he's just so demoralized from being hurt over the last few years. But that being said, there were a few moments last year. You will remember we took him off of the Kyle Pitts. What was it? The burn book, the honorary Kyle Pitts burn book. We took him out of that because he had a few good games. In weeks 1 through 8, actually, he was the tight end 4 in total points last season, and then he just completely fell off a cliff. Like I think he averaged like 3 points after that.
By the way,
the
the way
second half
you
of the
know somebody's really trying to convince you of a player is when they start talking about their total points over a stretch, not their points per game.
He was 10-6 in points per game.
There it is. Yeah.
10-4 in total points. But that's more
so
like
true.
this
You
guy
know what
had
I mean?
a
No, it's
bye.
always
That
like-
guy didn't have a
Because
bye.
there's bye weeks and stuff, so you can kind of make it look better to say overall.
He's
I'm sure they didn't have a
he's
bye.
still 23 years old, Craig.
Right. Yeah.
He is actually 24 years old. Like that's
There was one play in particular which I feel like sums up the Kyle Pitts experience over his career. He had a 49-yard touchdown against the Buccaneers last year where he caught a slant, like ran, stiff-armed a guy from behind him. We were like, he is back. And then as he was running over the goal line, he gets stripped because he's like starts jogging and like celebrating too early. And I'm just like, God damn it.
all the
Like-
draft cliches are like when you had Belichick, anyone asks you like, does this guy love football?
Yeah.
And no one ever wants to ever name anyone who doesn't love football. Well, I mean, I'll do it, Kadarius Toney. But I think that is the question about Kyle Pitts is like, why does it look like you don't care? Now, can I counter that, TK?
Mm-hmm.
Contract year. Because it doesn't matter if he likes football, because everyone loves money. So he's youngest. He's like he's
Love that
somehow
money.
Basically, that's it. I would argue that Kirk Cousins played well in the first stretch, and then Kirk Cousins got hurt. Like he exacerbated whatever was going on with the Achilles. Like clearly, Kirk Cousins couldn't fucking move. He was like a statue, like in the middle of the season. That's why he got benched. So you could argue Michael Penix Jr. might be the best quarterback Kyle Pitts has ever played with, but Kyle Pitts is more experienced than ever. Yet he's the cheapest he's ever been.
Sure. I love that. More experienced
He's more
than ever.
experienced than ever.
More
Aren't we
experienced
all?
than ever.
Yeah,
That's how you know I'm fucking lying to
I'm
myself.
older
but-
now than I've ever been.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, Kyle Pitts is like, I think the difference between now and the past is we have gone from Kyle Pitts you should take in the 4th round to Kyle Pitts is like a good like late tight end to have as your starter. Now, what I'm saying is if you have drafted Tucker Kraft and you need a backup tight end, just take Kyle Pitts. Like he's a backup tight end. If Kyle Pitts sucks,
Lottery
you can
ticket.
cut him. But
Yeah.
what if Kyle Pitts is good? Like, and that's the difference is there are very, 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 very few tight ends that if they're better than we think would actually be incredible. For the most part, the tight ends that are good outside the top 12 are like, well, what if they just scored a lot of touchdowns randomly like fucking Robert Tonyan did with the Packers that one year?
Wow.
Kyle Pitts is like, oh, he actually would just be like a wide receiver.
So
Like,
he's
I-
going
tight
around
end.
guys like Hunter Henry, Colston Loveland, Zach Ertz. Isaiah
Exactly.
Likely.
Colston Loveland.
And
really?
that's my point is there's only 4 tight ends to me that have a ton of upside of like, well, they probably won't be that good, but if they are, it will matter. As Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren, the rookies, who if they're good, they could matter. And again, they probably won't. The rookie tight ends, which generally don't work. But Colston Loveland Could Sam Laporta clone for Ben Johnson in Chicago? Tyler Warren would just be like, what if the entire offense is made out of Tyler Warren? As DK, you've compared him to Dallas Goedert, Shane Steichen, Colts coach, who's the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia. Maybe what if Tyler Warren sneakily becomes the offense? And then to me, it's just Dalton Kincaid and Kyle Pitts, who are guys that we've given up on, even though tight end is known to be the slowest developing position on all of offense, even up there with quarterback. And so it's like, it's not crazy.
And injuries have been big factors for both of those guys.
Dalton Kincaid had the crazy injury that I barely understand. What was the name of it again?
Compartment?
Oh.
No, what was it?
No, that's awful.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was like a French name.
It's the Morel Lavalley lesion in his knee, which and the point being, Kincaid and Pitts are the guys, along with Loveland and Warren, that if they're better than you think, it would matter. Because if Ertz is slightly better than we think, it doesn't matter beyond, I'm just happy I don't have to stream a tight end.
No,
but he's getting 11 points a week
late,
instead of like 8.
When you're drafting guys this late, like Zach Ertz scoring 9 points a game versus 7 points a game is irrelevant. You need somebody who could potentially put up 15 points a game. And that is Kyle Pitts, and it's Loveland, and it's like maybe Isaiah Likely down there if Mark Andrews gets hurt. But yeah.
So there you go. I'm so glad, this is why people listen to the show. It's so they can come back and in the year of 2025, we're like, take Kyle Pitts and Anthony Richardson.
I'm not trying to talk you into taking
a tradition unlike any other.
He's going like 130. Dude, people will draft a defense before Kyle Pitts. That's all I'm saying.
He did have a touchdown against the Commanders late in the season, week 17. You guys remember that? Where Michael Penix threaded a needle through like 4 defenders, and it helped tie up the game. And I think they went to overtime.
That was our joke.
Losing.
That was our joke with Penix, was he doesn't know not to throw at Kyle Pitts yet. He hasn't figured that out. Penix can sling it, man. Yep. Do you know that when Penix came in, it's 3 games, a small sample, but how far the pass traveled downfield was the furthest of any quarterback in the NFL by a lot, other than Anthony Richardson, which take that for what you will.
Just chucking it.
Okay. The other tight end briefly is Mark Andrews, who DK, I think, gives you more of the ick than any player in the NFL because he volleyball sets passes.
I went full circle, or not full, half circle, I guess, and I started feeling bad for him. Like he like made me mad earlier.
We've been talking about bad smells, but like the bad taste in the mouth that Mark Andrews left for everybody.
Just remind people, do you want me to remind how basically the Bills-Ravens had that
in the playoffs, divisional round.
Great game.
Divisional round that felt like the AFC Championship game.
Yes.
And which ended up, it just,
it's ironic because neither of those teams made the Super Bowl.
I know. But the Bills-Ravens played, and then basically Mark Andrews had the ball, honestly, like in his lap.
Was that a 2-point conversion?
Yes.
And it would have tied or put them ahead?
It would have put them ahead.
Jeez.
They were down 1.
And he dropped it.
He's reliving it. Oh, no, he's reliving it.
It was fucking brutal, man.
Yeah,
it was,
like that was one of those thing. Like, fuck, I could have caught that moments.
Yeah.
And so anyway, tough beat for Mark Andrews.
Anyway,
left a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
They were down by 2. It would have gone to overtime.
Oh, would have tied it. Okay.
They were down by 2. But regardless, they didn't go to overtime.
Over. It was game over at that point. Yeah.
Do we want him this year? Because he was people dropped him in the first half of the season. He was so bad.
Which he was coming off a very scary ankle injury in 2023. He got in a car crash right before the season in 2020.
Which they McCaffrey'd. They like super lot. I mean,
they undersold.
They were like, he had no, what did they say? Like, no, it was like physical damage or something.
Yeah,
it was something like, nothing mechanical.
It was like the literal doctor.
Like, and then he had,
but it was
6
like maybe
catches in the first 4 weeks.
Or something for,
So, but the second half of the season,
nothing structural. They said,
right. It's like that was a very specific word that legally protects you.
What does that mean?
Yeah, weird.
What are you talking about?
They spent a long time getting that word right.
It's like his internal organs were not doing so well, but he structurally was fine.
Yeah, and like he was really bad the first half of the year, but the second half of the year he was the number 5 tight end. And the argument with Mark Andrews is he is the cheapest you'll ever get him. He's basically now being drafted as the 7th tight end, which is the lowest you'll ever be able to get him. And before that, Mark Andrews every year was a perennial top 3 tight end. It has been. The last 3 years he was the tight end 4, 3, and 1. He was the only guy other than Travis Kelce during Travis Kelce's stretch to actually have a tight end one season ahead of Kelce. And he's 30 years old. He had 11 touchdowns last year. He's healthy.
He had 11 touchdowns?
He had 11 touchdowns, a career high, which is the only reason why he was even somewhat relevant last year. But the situation has not really changed in Baltimore. I mean, it is still the same Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely. You have Derrick Henry, Lamar, and it's like...
Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins, I guess. But I'm like, I kind of just think Mark Andrews is the same good Mark Andrews the year after the injury, and you can get him at a discount.
Mark Andrews is the reason we're doing this, because if you could slice it in the middle of the year, I don't think that I feel pretty confident saying this. I don't think there was a single, outside of Christian McCaffrey, there was not a single player people were mad about more and talking to us more and asking, can I cut this player more than Mark Andrews? That was all we heard about the first month of the season was, can I cut Christian McCaffrey? Can I cut Mark Andrews? And then Mark Andrews, week 6 on, had 11 touchdowns in his next 12 games, which is kind of the reason we're doing this exercise about the stank, is that like the stank doesn't always last.
I feel like for this whole exercise, I just keep thinking, oh yeah, he was hurt. Like, we just don't fucking pay attention to injuries.
We hate people who are injured.
Anyway.
And Jaylen Waddle.
Yeah, but Tua was hurt.
Tua was hurt.
Yeah, like literally, we're like, oh, Michael Pittman, he was hurt. Jaylen Waddle, Tua was hurt. Chris Olave, hurt. Mark Andrews was hurt. Kyle Pitts, always hurt.
Who was the other guy we were going to put on this list? Couldn't decide if he was stanky. He was Breece Hall for the Jets. Guess what? He was also hurt.
Yeah, he also
Marvin Harrison wasn't hurt.
Marvin Harrison was not hurt.
But he was weak. He was so weak that
he was so
like,
slow.
Yeah, he's so slow. He's so weak. He needs bigger arms.
But Mark Andrews is like, I think, one of my favorite tight ends to draft this year.
I like that. That's smart. All right. Well, now
have fun with that, Craig.
Now we have to do the ugliest part of the whole thing, which is the running backs. And we can do this kind of quickly. But basically, I just want to start. I mean, Najee Harris, Craig.
So nasty.
Well, speaking of being hurt.
Poor Najee Harris. I don't know how good Najee Harris is, but I know he's not bad. And I just think he has the stench of Pittsburgh all over him. And coupled with the fact that now he's in LA with the Chargers and they draft this awesome, cool, exciting running back in Omarion Hampton. And now everyone's like,
in the first round.
First round. It's like, God, really? You fucking Najee Harris with him? God damn it. Like, you're ruining Omarion Hampton. Really?
And not to mention that, he also had the 4th of July fireworks thing that was a rumor that turned out to be slightly true, which is his agent ended up basically, Doug Hendrickson, who's his agent, basically said that, speaking of like well-phrased injury statements, that Najee Harris had a, quote, superficial eye injury.
You've got one eye.
Which...
Somebody just tagged me with a gif of that, like responding to the Najee news.
Chubbs.
Yeah, so
you got one eye.
He took his hand. I got that bastard's eye, though.
Oh, my God.
That's the firework from 4th of July.
Pretty
it's like
sick,
in a
Chubbs.
jar. It's like jiggling.
It's like in the grossest like, brown liquid you've ever seen. The oldest mason jar in the world.
Oh, my God.
Eye, though.
It's like jabbing him.
Anyway.
Got that bastard's eye, though.
Najee Harris feels as old as Chubbs, but he's not. Najee Harris is 27 years old.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? That's mind-blowing to me.
He's 27 years old.
There's never been a more 31-year-old coded running back than Najee Harris.
Najee Harris is going around pick 100, which is basically twice as late as Omarion Hampton. And I got to say, as gross as Najee Harris feels, like, there's a decent chance he just ends the season with more carries
like
than Omarion
50-50.
Hampton. It truly might be a coin flip. Greg Roman, historically, in the 5 seasons with the Chargers and the Ravens, has given a running back more than 144 carries once. And we also shouldn't forget Jim Harbaugh recruited Najee Harris out of high school. Likes Najee Harris. Najee Harris has had 1,000 yards in 4 straight seasons. Like, they're going to use him. They like him. The Chargers want to run the ball. They were not good at running the ball last year.
Dude, if
this will be a split.
Hampton makes the wrong read a couple
Yes.
times.
I was going to say,
misses
it's funny.
a blitz pickup. I don't know.
In theory, we keep joking about it, but the idea you should draft Najee and then trade Najee for Omarion Hampton in like week 6, which we keep
100%.
joking about.
Yeah.
But Omarion Hampton just seems like someone who will disappoint early and then like genuinely just be easily like a top 5 running back from Halloween on or Thanksgiving on as he gets the trust. But yeah, I can't help but think Omarion Hampton's going to miss one block and get Justin Herbert lit the fuck up. And I think that Jim Harbaugh, the number one thing that keeps Jim Harbaugh up at night is the idea that Justin Herbert suffered some like career-ending injury.
He's getting in that elevator with him.
Oh my God, I forgot about that when the Chargers were stuck in the elevator. Jim Harbaugh's like, I wish I was in the
jealous
elevator.
of the people that were in the elevator.
What an opportunity to bond.
I get that. I actually really get that.
He had FOMO for being stuck in an elevator.
How badly can I like give an honest breakdown of the dynamic of this show?
Okay.
I feel like if you two were stuck in an elevator together, I would wish I was there. But if I were stuck in an elevator with one of you,
Good luck.
one of you would not want to be. Let me out of You guys would be like trapped with Heifetz.
Heifetz. Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? He'd be like, I found a corner to pee in. We're like, Heifetz.
Heifetz, we've been here 20 minutes. Oh my God.
99 bottles of beer on the wall. But anyway, yeah, man, like
it's funny because it's true.
Najee Harris is going to be like a really good flex player on somebody's fantasy team this year.
Yeah, he'll be good and then it won't be good. But
yeah.
That's actually, you know what? We always do tattoos from the end of the season. We should do tattoos from the middle of the season. Like the sever thing, you know, they try to get that should be severance. It's things we tell ourselves before the season that we're like, don't forget this when you go inside. We're like, trade Najee at the end of in October. Like, don't care 7. What he's doing. I don't care what Harbaugh's saying. Trade Najee Harris. Like, no matter what.
That's good. That's like the writing the answers on your hand.
Yes.
You know
Ocean's 11 when he like draws the map to get to the room and then he gets back out. It's all sweaty and he can't read. He doesn't know how to leave the hallway. Oh my God!
These players will self-destruct. There's something there. We gotta figure that out.
It just says Najee Harris no matter what.
It's so hard to. It is to your point though. Like it is so hard to trade a player who's like really hot early on in the season.
Selling high is the hardest thing.
All rational thought just goes out the window with these guys. You're like, there's no way that he could keep doing this. Or
I know you really have to stay disciplined and tell yourself.
The other one,
so hard.
The other guy I want to hit is Travis Etienne, the running back for the Jaguars, who TK said maybe the stinkiest player on the list.
I'm talking about his reputation in the fantasy space right now is.
I think nobody gives a flying fuck about Travis Etienne.
We're talking about Bashal Tootin, the 4th rounder. I don't know.
Etienne like doesn't exist.
No, I kind of like Tank Bigsby this year. Not gonna lie.
I think so.
I kind of like Travis Etienne this year.
It's weird because
because everyone hates him.
I know he's a good example of like he's like a classic, like the way people do zero running back where they're like, I'm just not going to take any of these running backs. I'll take like a cheap volume guy. Mm-hmm. Travis Etienne, if you just ignore how people are annoyed at him, he checks every other box in that the Jaguars have the hot new offensive coordinator Liam Cohen, where you wouldn't be shocked. Like I personally am a big believer that it's worth investing in the Jaguars. I just think the Jaguars Liam Cohen are an easy bet. I think Trevor Lawrence is the 20th quarterback. I'm like, yeah, I'll just take Trevor Lawrence with like my 120th pick and just have him be my quarterback instead of taking Baker Mayfield in the 7th round or whatever. I like that. I like Brian Thomas. I think Travis Hunter's value. And then I look at this thing. I'm like, well, if the offense is good and Liam Cohen came from Tampa Bay, I think basically Travis Etienne is like a better Rashad White. And Tank Bigsby is like a worse Bucky Irving. And then, frankly, a smart person described this to me as Bashal Tootin is, if anything, more like a Devon Achane, like a worse Devon Achane. And that, how does that breakdown work? And so if it's all 3 guys, maybe none of them are helpful. But they're priced like none of them will be helpful. And I think that's the important part I want to imprint is they're all priced like they won't be valuable at all. But Travis Etienne's in a contract year, and it could totally make sense that the Jags are like, yeah, we're just going to give a ton of touches to Travis Etienne. He's the lead, and we're going to we're going to let him go. We don't care, but we're going to get him like 250 plus touches on the way out the door. And Etienne ends up being like a really valuable pick. He's like the 100th overall guy. And I'm like, he could just be the lead back on a really good offense.
I mean, that's what I was doing when I was thinking about Etienne. It's like you play like the if-then scenarios out in your mind. Like obviously maybe Tank Bigsby does end up getting more carries. Maybe Bashal Tootin is a rookie sensation. And like, I really liked him coming out. He's a really exciting player, but I'm still trying to play through all the different scenarios. I feel like the most obvious scenario is that Travis Etienne is just going to get most of the volume again. Don't you think that's the most likely thing that's going to happen?
I do.
You said again, but he didn't last year. Tank Bigsby had more carries and more yards last year.
Yeah, but Etienne got shadow benched.
Yeah.
He played 15 games. Tank Bigsby played 1 more, but yeah.
Etienne got like shadow benched by Peterson because he was frustrated. I think there was frustration about Etienne just not being a north-south runner enough. But I'm also like,
but also new coaching staff.
My thinking is that Cohen is going to want somebody like a Bucky Irving who can like get up the field and get yards. And Tank Bigsby is not a good receiver, but running the football, Tank Bigsby is pretty good and was terrible year 1, made a huge leap year 2. One thing that Liam Cohen did in his first year with the Bucs was the Bucs were dead last in yards before contact running the football. So the running backs are getting touched very early. He took them all the way up to 9th in year one with the Bucs. Last year on the Jags, Tank Bigsby averaged more yards after contact than Travis Etienne averaged regularly yards per carry.
Okay.
Etienne averaged 3.7 yards per carry. Tank averaged more than that after contact. And to me, that makes a lot of sense that Cohen is going to end up leaning towards Tank Bigsby, who can get up the field and make big plays. So I think Tank, who's going 40 picks after Etienne, who like two coaches or who Doug Peterson didn't like. I don't know. I think Tank is a stronger value at his pick than Etienne.
And not only that, I think that you could pretty easily argue, why would I take Bucky Irving 20th when I could take Tank Bigsby 120th or maybe 110th probably. But
Bucky
that's a good
Irving,
point.
one thing that Bucky was great at was yards after contact. He was first in the NFL last year. Second was Tank.
Convincing.
You make very convincing arguments there, Craig. I like it. I think I'm just like holding on to old feelings that Travis Etienne is a good running back. At this point in time, I feel like maybe that ship has sailed. He was coming out like super explosive, actually pretty dynamic in the passing game. It just hasn't really worked out for him in the NFL. But I think I'm still holding on to like this thought that he's a good running back. Maybe that's not true.
I like Craig's point.
Hell yeah.
Also, TK, what
Craig,
if
you guys can go hang out in a fucking elevator then.
What if
Please, no.
other guy?
I like Craig's point. What was that? Dick?
That's a good podcast. We should just put people in the elevator and record it.
Trap him in an elevator.
It's called elevator pitch.
It's called Panic Room.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh, there we
elevator
go.
pitch.
Yeah.
That feels like, the Subway Takes guy? It feels like
Yeah, I was just going to say Subway Takes. I love the
There's a
Subway
version
Takes
of that
guy.
where it's like it's a guy in an elevator and then on the way up,
Give me your elevator
somebody
pitch.
pitches him
That's
something.
good.
Yeah.
Wait, should we cut that out of the show? Should we do that?
Possibly.
We should do that.
That's good.
We need a very tall building. You can only do that in New York.
Spotify is in the World Trade Center.
Yeah. What is it, 50 floors up? That's got to take a minute.
It's actually 69, actually, which is funny. They have the 69th floor.
Wow.
Isn't that funny?
Cheeky.
That
That's
just
so
seems like
funny.
so meme.
Maybe, I don't know if the Swedes are aware of that joke. Maybe they don't know the 69 joke.
Oh, wait, that's a great question.
They
Is
don't
69
do
a
that
thing in other
in
languages, other
Sweden.
I don't know.
cultures?
Might not.
They must. Think they haven't thought of it?
They don't like to switch things up in Sweden. Stay parallel, regular.
Sure.
Yeah. If you're in Sweden, email us. Let us know
Yeah.
if that's the kind of thing that goes on there. You know.
Yeah. Give us the metrics on 69 in Sweden. Are people doing it? Are people talking about it?
Do you think it's a sentence scoregami if I pivot from whether they 69 in Sweden to Javonte Williams and J.K. Dobbins? No one's ever said that sentence, right? There's no chance that's been said in human history.
69 in Sweden.
No way.
There's no chance anyone's ever said that. We can just be quick, but Javonte Williams left Denver after being bad with really a bunch of knee injuries, and
Dude,
J.K. Dobbins
he's
is heading
up there.
to Denver.
He was hurt.
He's up there with Stink.
I was going to say
He's
J.K.
one of the
Dobbins
stinkier
bad
players.
after a lot of injuries. Javonte Williams bad after a lot of injuries. Kind of same deal where I think the Broncos kind of need J.K. Dobbins to be healthy, which is crazy. So it's like you could take him, and every game he plays, that's good, and then eventually he'll stop playing games.
Yeah.
Right? That seems straightforward to me. And then Javonte is crazy because Dallas could have an awesome offense, but it's Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders,
What a backfield.
and then rookie Jaden Blue, the rookie out of Texas, and then Phil Maffa, who is like an NPC.
Phil Maffa?
I
That's
know,
an NFL
right?
player?
That's an
He's a
NFL
rookie.
player. He's a
running
rookie.
back
Phil
named
Maffa.
Phil Maffa.
Phil Maffa, big boy. He went to Clemson.
Phil.
He's a big guy. I know Phil. Honestly, he's like the youngest Phil I know. How many
He's
Phils
got to
do
be
you
the
know?
only Phil at running back ever.
Phil.
His name's fucking
Phil
Phil.
Dorsett. Oh no, he's receiver. You're right. Wait, I
Phil.
was thinking of Tony Dorsett.
Phil Connor?
Ned Ryerson.
Even
Are there any
name
Neds
Phil.
on the
Oh,
Cowboys?
Philip
People
Lindsay.
named Phil. Do you guys
Philip-
know a Phil?
Philip Lindsay. No, I don't know a Phil.
I don't know a Phil.
I do know a
Actually,
Phil.
no, I do know a Phil. My friends. Ironically, the whole family's Phils. My friend Phil is, I guess he's like 33.
You know a
but
family
everyone in
of
the
Phils?
family's named Phil.
Wow.
Unfortunately, no Neds on the Cowboys, Craig. Unless they had a chance to do a good bit there.
Phil Maffa?
Shout out to my friend Phil.
I saw an interview with what's his face?
Bill Murray?
Yeah, Bill Murray, who he got bit by the Punxsutawney Phil or whatever.
He got bit by him?
Yeah, in Making Groundhog Day.
Oh, okay. That's the story?
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing.
Oh. Should save that for the elevator. Anyway, are we in or out on Javonte Williams? I kind of just feel like Javonte is bad. He says he's healthy.
But I don't want anybody on Dallas running the ball, to be honest.
Real quick, how old do you think Javonte Williams is, Craig? Because I know DK knows the names of the ages of all these people.
He's younger than we think. He's probably
how old is who?
Javonte Williams. I know DK can get it exactly, so
I'm
hold your
going to
tongue.
say he's 25.
DK?
I was thinking 26.
Craig's exactly right. He's 25. Now I feel
wow,
stupid.
25?
Javonte Williams is 25, and he shredded his knee 3 years ago. So
yeah, but I think sometimes we keep doing this where it's like, man, he's so young. He's been bad his whole career, and he got hurt. Well, he's so young.
No, Javonte's more, I feel bad for him because Javonte, honestly, not quite J.K. Dobbins level talent but J.K. Dobbins was probably going to be one of the best running backs in the NFL. Shredded his knee, was never the same. Javonte, before
and
he got
tore
hurt,
his Achilles.
Yeah, there was a lot going on with Javonte Williams. With J.K. Dobbins. There was a lot. Yeah, he got a Clay Thompson. But Javonte was awesome.
Doing great. I don't know if you've seen what Clay's up to lately. Stud.
Oh, yeah. Is he with...
What is he doing?
He's dating Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, yeah. And I saw Antonio Brown was mad. And I was like, fucking, of all the things you're mad about, that's insane. So that's the craziest thing you've ever said. Yeah, good for Clay. Clay seems like a chill... that's not a very novel thing to say, but I feel like that one could last.
Yeah.
Like that one could last.
I actually think there's staying power in a way.
I don't know anything about the relationship with Megan Thee Stallion.
How are you making that determination? I feel like that. I give it 2 years.
They're both rich and live cool lives and seem cool, and Clay's chill. So sure.
I think that's it for the stank. Who's the stankiest guy on here?
I mean, it's probably Kyle Pitts.
Right? I think you have to factor in cost because like Anthony Richardson might not play this season, but he's undrafted. You could literally pick him up on waivers after your draft ends. So I don't think Richardson counts. So I think if you factor in cost, I kind of think Jerry Jeudy, just because the idea that option A you're hoping is Joe Flacco at 40 plays the entire season. And like that's plan A. That just gives me the ick.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say the least stinky player on this list is probably Marvin Harrison Jr. or Mark Andrews. And the most stinky is Jerry Jeudy and maybe Javonte Williams.
DK, who's your stankiest player if you factor in where you have to take them? Because Judy's like a top 70 pick. But like Marvin Harrison's top 45, but you made a good point.
I think it's Jeudy.
I think it's Etienne. I think people are out on Etienne.
Yeah. He's still going in the top 100.
I don't know.
But the Liam Cohen thing, yeah.
Okay.
Kyle Pitts.
I think it's...
Can't believe we're still talking about Kyle Pitts.
Well, okay, he's going to play in the NFL for like 7 more years. So.
I would love to have a compilation of everything we've said about Kyle Pitts each year.
Don't do that to Carlos.
5 stages of grief, but for all 5 years of his career. Oh my God, that would actually be great. Don't give him
the tools to make that.
Wait, that's actually incredible.
And it would literally every year being like, look, he's 22. Look, he's 23.
Wait, there's a 5 stages of grief. This is his 5th season. We should do that. Oh my God. All right, Carlos, that's aside.
It's the year after the year after the year after the year after.
You got hurt in 2022. What were you doing in 2022? Life was so different then.
Penix.
I don't think Russia had even invaded Ukraine in 2022. Like
well, who was at the top of the pop charts in 2022? I don't even know.
Probably Dua Lipa.
That's a great call. Definitely. Okay, a couple emails to get out of here.
Year end. Let's see here. 2022 Heat Waves by Glass Animals.
Oh, I hate that song.
I don't even know what that is.
That song just claimed real estate in my brain and won't let it go.
As It Was by Harry Styles.
That was another song that was played way too much.
Yeah.
Stay. The Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber.
Oh, that's
a great song.
I like that song.
The remix. There's a remix of that with Miley Cyrus.
Adele.
That's excellent.
Shivers. Ed Sheeran.
This is a bad
Sheeran.
Year.
Sorry, Sheeran.
Did you just call him Ed Sheeran?
Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. We were talking about, we asked for people with dumb arguments you've had with your friends.
Yeah.
And it's split into 2 things. Dumb topics.
Don't you dare fucking finger my eggs.
Bro, are you fingering those eggs?
Whoa. Get your finger out of there, pal.
Someone
said
put
that egg down. Put that egg down.
Step away from the egg.
Police break in. Sir.
Put it down. Put it down.
Put those eggs where I can see them.
Oh, wait, sorry. What were you saying?
No, you're good. There's two kinds of dumb stories people sit in. Dumb topics.
Okay.
And then, honestly, a whole segment was dumb things their friends thought, like it being Ed Sheeran, that were revealed in arguments. And it's where they dug in, like Craig's
Like
friend Chris.
the wind thing that we got completely wrong, Craig?
Well, we got an answer on the wind thing,
Yeah.
but whether wind carries sound, it's a whole other thing. That still misses the point. From
Wait,
the
I
argument.
forget. Did we say it did or did not?
Well, the argument,
We said it didn't.
we said it carries sound literally, but the point was whether a lack of wind would make you not hear pickleball, which is ridiculous.
DK, I feel like you and I originally were like, yes, it does. Then Heifetz is like, you guys are stupid. No, it doesn't. And then
Well,
we
no,
found out
but
it did.
No, it's relative. Basically, the idea that
yeah.
they were saying it was windy and we heard the pickleball, and then it wasn't windy. That's why we can't hear the pickleball. Like, that is insane to me.
True. But the if you boil down the argument to can wind carry sound, the answer is
That's
yes.
true, but that's not what they were talking about.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what we were discussing, right?
Fair, but then, all right, fine. We got an email.
Yeah, that's totally what I meant.
fine. Fine, then I'll read an email from Greg.
Turns out I was right.
Greg.
Greg.
G-Bone.
My name is Greg. I am an avid listener of your podcast, and I have an
name
answer
is
for you on
Greg.
whether or not sound was
Oh.
carried by wind.
I like when people start emails. My name is Greg.
For some
by
context,
the way, I'm loving the breakfast thing.
Yeah, what do we
yeah,
get?
you-
What do we get?
we have some people with breakfast. I'll read the breakfast. Maybe I'll give Greg says, for some context, I'm a naval architect, so I'm a ship designer.
Wow.
So how sound travels, pretty big part of that. Sound is the vibration of particles in a wave, so it has to travel through something, water or air. To be heard, there has to be some particle to vibrate. Also means sound, not a thing in space. What happens is, because sound is air, it also tends to reflect, sound is air, particles are vibrating. The wind can actually push it further or against it, influencing how far it can go.
Right.
It also tends to reflect off the water surface because the density is so much higher that you get the same thing of like an echo chamber where it will bounce off it.
That's
This is
kind of what
why-
we said, right?
Yeah,
That's what you
Yeah.
said. I was wrong about that. But this is why if you're in a room with a lot of blank walls, the sound echoes more because it's bouncing off the radically different density.
Interesting.
Okay. And then there are some, materials that absorb sound, right? Like when you're soundproofing a room.
Right, like the foam stuff. Sound
Yeah,
proof
foam,
foam.
and that's why you want to have like rug and carpet and stuff like that.
It's just eating the sound.
Yeah.
So with that said, I just list. There were so many emails. I just listed the dumb arguments people had.
Wait,
I had
did you
to
get to
truncate the emails.
breakfast? I feel like we made a promise.
He didn't
that-
list the breakfast.
Oh, okay.
But I'll list other people's breakfasts as they come.
Cool.
Include the breakfast, what you had to eat that day.
Yeah.
Someone's funny had just like decent egg sandwich from the Kansas City airport. That one was
saw
funny.
that. There was one that was like breakfast bar and 40 ounces of coffee. I was like, fuck yeah.
Dude, someone put
That guy's fucking
40
vibrating.
ounces to freedom.
someone just put like 40 ounces of coffee in a Zin until I need my next Zin. And I was like, that tracks. Okay.
That guy crushed at the office that day.
Other dumb arguments people had. This one's from Jamie.
J-Bone. Been waiting for it. Jamie.
Jamie said we were debating about the Mount Rushmore greatest athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of worthy names thrown out. Wayne Gretzky, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, Michael Phelps. And then one of my friends said that Secretariat deserved to be on the list.
Okay.
I feel like I've heard this argument before.
And basically it was like, he's
Not a person.
Well, that's what I want to ask you guys is should
Does it-
Secretariat be on the Mount Rushmore of athletes? Does a horse
Can
have
an
a
animal
case?
be an athlete? Is
Yeah.
Air Bud an athlete?
Animals are athletic,
Okay.
Well, then why wouldn't they
but
be
I think
athletes?
in the definition, I think it's assumed it's a person when you're
Does
saying
the
the greatest
athlete-
athlete of all time.
If the
You know-
animal is unaware that it is participating in a sport, can they be considered an athlete?
But doesn't everyone always say the horses know when they win?
Also, I would argue a fucking cheetah is more athletic than Secretariat ever was.
But he was not competing in a sport.
It's all
So I'd like
relative.
to see Secretariat chase down a fucking rabbit on the savannah.
Okay, cool.
Well, I mean, I think it could have, 'cause it was the
Rico could
fucking
throw it out
fastest
of the
horse
boat.
ever.
It would break his fucking leg.
Yeah, but he's
Okay,
not
but-
participating in a sport.
By that metric, Tiger Woods.
Hunting's not a sport, Craig.
Not to me.
I mean, it's called game.
It's literally called a sport.
Not to
But
me.
yeah.
Not in my world.
Game, not a sport.
I think
I
if
guess-
you're including animals, a horse running in a straight line is not that athletic to me.
I mean, I agree with that. But also, are
My
we saying,
dog is more athletic than
But when
Secretariat.
we say greatest
Oh,
athletes,
no. What?
See that change of direction of that guy?
What
He's
are you
fucking
talking
fast.
about?
it's an interesting argument. going on here.
Secretariat won the Belmont by
let's take this
31
another
lengths.
level.
Did I Google how long a length is today? Yes, I did. 31 lengths. That's how long.
Cheetahs can run 60 miles an hour.
Your
How
dog
fast did
eats its own
Secretariat run?
shit and throws it up.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. You're making my point for me. Secretariat, fine athlete. If you're including other animals, the list would probably be hundreds long. A peregrine falcon can fly like 100 miles an hour.
I agree with DK.
So a horse ran real fast. That's great.
Okay, but by that metric, none of the Olympic runners count as athletes because we're just saying, well, it's all relative to humanity's achievements. But if humans are slow, then none of them do it. Like,
I'm not arguing.
Usain Bolt sucks.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I would just not say he's the greatest athlete of all time. He's a great athlete.
But you also said your dog's more athletic than Secretariat. So if you're saying that about Usain Bolt, basically.
My dog is probably faster than Usain Bolt.
Are we saying the greatest athlete of all time relative to the sport they are playing? Or are we just saying generally who's the most athletic person ever?
See, there you go.
I don't know.
That's
It's
another
Mount
question
Rushmore
we
of
gotta
athletes, which is ambiguous.
This is why I'm bringing it up.
Because
Secretariat.
it's probably just like fucking LeBron. If you want to just say like who's the most athletic person ever.
LeBron couldn't win the Belmont.
But relative to their
Jesus Christ.
sport, it's probably like fucking Serena Williams or something. I don't know.
Phelps.
I don't care about the question. I just care whether a horse can be in the conversation.
No.
I just think I'm taking it further. If you're including horses,
I agree with DK.
Yeah.
If you're including horses, then it's a cheetah. It's a lion.
It's a fucking
Any cheetah, but which cheetah
lions
was the
aren't that
fastest
fast.
of the cheetahs? I think
But
it
I'm not
matters
saying
to
it
be the
has to be that
fastest of your animal.
I don't
How
think it's
fast
just
can a
speed.
horse run?
All humans are compared to other humans. Why wouldn't you compare Secretariat to the other horses?
But we're comparing Secretariat to other humans' achievements as well.
So you're saying no people should be on the list. It should be 4 fucking cheetahs and a falcon.
Secretariat ran 37.7 miles an hour according to AI overview. Whatever.
Honestly, yeah. Like if we're just talking about in general,
It's a falcon,
living
it's a
who is
cheetah.
the most athletic living being? I'd probably take a cheetah.
Have you seen those things change direction?
I
change
saw
down?
one in person a year ago.
Fucking crazy.
You know what's sneakily fast? Or tuna. Bluefin tuna swims so fast.
Oh yeah, tuna are fast.
You
Just
wanna know
pure
what's
muscle.
Sneaky fast hippos.
Hippo, dude, that video of the hippo chasing the boat.
Hippos are
Crazy.
sneaky athletic. Feet of
Aggressive.
man,
They don't even swim. They just run on the
They
bottom
just
of the water.
run on the water.
Yeah,
That's
Insane.
fucking terrifying, by the
Yeah,
way.
fucking Jordan
Anyway.
Davis.
You guys want to hear
Greyhounds
the other?
can run up to 45 miles an hour.
Oh, wait, can I read
A
you the list of?
greyhound is a better athlete than Secretariat.
This is actually the hottest take I think you've ever had. And literally any greyhound is more impressive than Secretariat. Okay.
George, my dog.
I want to read you other dumb arguments friends had.
Okay.
Which part of the bed is the front of the bed? Led to like a giant
That's
argument.
a good question.
It's
Yeah.
where the feet are.
Yeah.
It's
I
hard,
think
but that's called the
it
foot of the
depends,
bed.
Depends. Oh, you're right.
No.
Craig thought about it and dismissed it. He made the
I've heard
ruling.
your argument, and I've decided no. If somebody said it's at the front of the bed, I left my shirt at the front of the bed. You're going to the bottom of the bed.
I no thought whatsoever. That's just what I think. That is what I would do. If you left it, that's where I would think you left it.
It's like
is
the front of your
where
car.
the feet go. If you said, oh, it's on the front of the bed, and I walked into the room, I would be looking for it to be where the feet are, not where the pillows are.
Yeah.
That's just how
The
I
foot
think.
and the front are actually, in this case, synonymous.
It's the back because it's the deeper part of the room. It's
I
like-
agree.
you know?
I agree.
Unless you have weird feng shui and you like sleep backwards.
That would be weird.
Right.
Another
we're not
argument
considering
a friend group had.
No.
No.
Like halfway through the drink. No.
One of them was should a 4 and out count as a turnover in a football game because they had bet on it for the Rams-Bengals Super Bowl. And then
Yeah.
the first,
Oh, does it?
and I guess they
technically,
didn't, I think they didn't get
It's a
paid.
turnover on downs, is it not?
It's called a turnover on downs, and I don't think they got paid
but they
for
don't
turnover.
count for a turnover though.
No,
It doesn't count as a team turnover.
I don't think so.
But like it should. I know
Yeah.
why it's statistically not counted in the bet, but like it spiritually it's called a turnover on downs. But can I also just before we leave quickly just read you the list of other arguments that I got, the other category, which is just dumb shit people believed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Please do.
Someone thought I won't even read your name. I'm so embarrassed for you. Someone thought that because freeze, the past tense is frozen. Their whole life they thought the past tense for squeeze was squozen.
I like that. It should be.
And they went their entire life not knowing that was wrong until they were 26 at a bachelor party, and they asked if anyone wanted freshly squozen orange juice.
Come on.
What's funny is that person just thought that themselves privately and held on to that their entire life. Like they never consulted anybody. And we're like, that's it. They've never heard the word written, spoken by anyone else.
Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, the Sonny thing is perfect.
Squozen.
This was from John J-Bone.
J-Bone.
John
said, I was with a group of friends who were talking about, John thought it was faster to fly east to west. Sorry, faster to fly east than it is to fly west because he thought you were flying against the Earth's rotation and that made you go faster. Which is super not true.
Kind of like that.
Super not the case.
It's the jet stream.
Yeah, it's wind. He thought it was because you were flying against the rotation of the Earth.
Oh,
which is I get it.
The Earth was moving under him in the opposite direction, meaning you get there quicker.
Yes. So I understand how that happens, though.
That might actually work a little.
But if you fly to LA and it takes if you're flying one direction, it takes 6 hours, and then it flies the other and it's 4.5, and they're like, well, it's quicker. And then they just leave it at that and don't explain why. You'd be like, probably the Earth. You wouldn't think about the wind currents of the Earth. You'd be like, I guess the Earth's moving.
The
that
physics,
makes sense.
give us a physics professor or something. Tell us that.
Is part of that true? I know that the jet stream is the answer, but is it true that if you are going against the Earth's rotation, you are technically getting there faster than if you're going with the Earth's rotation?
Maybe by seconds, but I think overall gravity's holding the plane still. Yeah. I don't know. I'm unqualified to answer it, but I do know the Coriolis effect had to be included in that level of Call of Duty 4 where you have to snipe the guy from really far away and you have to account for it in the sniper.
Curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a real thing.
Oh, I mean.
You have to account for the bullet dropping off the face.
Speaking of Captain Phillips, bro. Well, yeah, that's honestly is how I know the flat Earth is fake thing because
because of the Captain
sniping.
Phillips shots.
Exactly.
Okay. That's what got it. That's what proved it finally.
I'm not convinced, but
Dustin emailed in and admitted this on himself. He thought there was a big argument because he thought the proper way to pronounce the word. He thought it was gymnast.
Like instead of gymnast?
They were watching the Olympics and they're like gymnast. He's like, it's gymnast.
Well, that's because gymnastics. I get it.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
Sure.
Gymnast.
Yeah. All right.
I always these are always so funny to me because it's like, have you ever talked to anybody before? This is like when you said the
Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, when you said that, it was like, Solak was like, who raised you?
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
That was Maestro, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, Maestro is a word in Spanish. It's fine.
Correct. Gymnast is probably how they say it in somewhere. Let's be honest. But not here.
All right.
Not in America.
Go talk to a person.
Someone emailed in because Craig mentioned the rappers in college campuses. Is that my buddy was at a college party in Rutgers 2014. Some rapper was set to perform there. The rapper showed up to the buddy's pregame. Said, yeah, this is my new single. I'm hoping it blows up. The rapper was Fetty Wap. The single was Trap Queen.
Whoa.
No way.
Because that song had been out for a year before it went big. And so it was out. And he was just there.
That's really cool.
And they said he was really cool and he was just passing out pre-rolls.
I love that rappers were just going to pre-games before a show.
That's sick. All right. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Email ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com for other dumb arguments. Email for other punishments for the Ringer Fantasy Football League that we are bringing back. Punishments that Bill Simmons and people with children would actually do. No 24 hours in a Waffle House. Things that people with children that are our bosses would actually do.
And if we're not reading them, it's not because we're forgetting them. We're compiling all the best ones. And in a month, we're going to do a mailbag where we go through the top 20, 30 ideas and we pick the actual punishment we're going to do for the first Ringer Fantasy Football League. So keep sending them in because we are compiling them.
And subscribe on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel now. Ringer Fantasy Football on YouTube. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Megan Thee Stallion.
Shouts out Clay. Like what a killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is good.
I did just Google wet ass pussy. Maybe not the best idea. Some other stuff came up.
I bet. He's
not
like,
on my work. I'm not on
He's
my
like,
work
it's
computer.
still up. Oh no.
I can't turn it off.
Hey, my computer froze.
Ah.
Goodbye, everyone.